Hey guys, Alan here. Don't do what I did, learn from my mistakes. Some of you will recall a video I did a few weeks ago where I did a hike in honor of my daughter that was deploying to Afghanistan at the time. What I didn't share with you in that video is that there were two other individuals that joined me on that hike. A friend of mine and a friend of my friends. Now, I had never met this other individual, and I was a little on the fence about him even joining us. In fact, when my friend called me and told me that he wanted his friend, or his friend was interested in coming along, I told him, I'm not sure, man, maybe we should do a shakedown hike so we're all on the same page, because you know how important this hike is to me, one, and two, we got X amount of time to cover X amount of miles, and it's very important I get this accomplished. So my friend kept telling me, oh no, he's fine, he's an accomplished hiker, camper, outdoorsman, whatever have you, and I was insistent, we need to do a shakedown hike, we need to all get on the same page. And that just never came to fruition, and I had somehow allowed myself to be convinced into letting this other individual go. Big mistake. First day we get up on the trail, we get a late start. It was probably about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, so we were just gonna start at the top. We were gonna get dropped in, hike down to the creek, and just camp out overnight. So no big deal, it's getting late, sun's dropping, we just start hiking down in between the canyons there. We find a spot, we're gonna rack out for the night, and this other individual, first thing he does is break out a bottle of Jack Daniels. And I'm thinking to myself, this is probably not gonna end well. I don't have a problem against anyone drinking. Lord knows back in the day, I used to be a heavy drinker and could put it down with the best of them. But this was a little different. I needed to be at peak performance in order to accomplish my mission. So he starts drinking. I decided to rack out, and this guy just starts drinking. In the back of my mind, I had this idea that this is gonna be an issue the next day. It's gonna slow progress, but whatever. Fell asleep, woke up the next day. We all wake up, we're all getting ready. They're putting up their camp and everything, and this guy's just a little groggy. I'm not saying anything. I'm like, okay, whatever, we've all been there. Let's just see how he performs. Now, mind you, my friend has told me that this guy's an experienced hiker, experienced camper. He's always out in the outdoors, so we should not have a problem. All right, we get on the trail, and almost immediately, as soon as we get on the trail, I just start breaking away from them as we hike. Guys, I have a long stride and I move out fast, and especially when I have intention of getting from point A to point B, I'm just like, boom, I just like hightail it out of there. And the other thing is, you have to remember that this was a very important hike for me, because this was in honor of my daughter, and I just had to make it happen. So we get on the trail, I start breaking away, I get a few yards out in front of them, I stop, look over my shoulder, they're jaw-jacking in the back, I wait for them to catch up, exchange a few words, and I break out again. And this just keeps going on for mile after mile after mile. And there's a part of me that by this point, it's probably 6 or 7 miles that this has been going on. This leapfrog or cat and mouse game has been going on. We get down to where we have to do a creek crossing, and we decide this is a good place to fill our water bottles. So we doff our packs, start filling our water bottles, start passing them through filters. We don our packs and get ready to cross the creek. I just walk across this log, not a problem. My buddy walks across this log, not a problem. This guy, my buddy's buddy, stands at the edge on the far side of the creek we've already crossed, and he's looking at this log, and he starts like hemming and hawing. Well, this doesn't look too safe. I don't know, maybe we should find another place I can cross. It doesn't seem stable. In the meantime, we're trying to encourage him. Now, we're along the PCT, and so there's people coming and going in this section near Deep Creek. And my buddy is trying to encourage him, come on, it's not a big deal, it's really stable, blah, blah, blah. Here come some other hikers. Without even skipping a beat, these other hikers just brush right past this guy, and they just walk along this log and keep going. There come some kids, walk across the log and keep going. This guy just keeps hemming and hawing. Finally, I don't know how my buddy convinces him to go, but he decides, okay, I guess it's safe, everyone else is doing it, and he crosses. And now in the back of my mind, I'm all like, This started out bad and is getting worse. I keep my mouth shut. Continue hiking along, and it starts again. I break away. Stop, turn around, wait for them to catch up. Walk a few more yards, breaking away. Stop, wait for them, catch up. So this continues on for mile after mile. Finally, at some point, this guy, once I stopped on the trail and he catches up, this guy may have sensed that I was a little annoyed, or maybe he was just a little embarrassed that this was continuing. But regardless, he tells my buddy and me, hey, why don't you guys get ahead of me? Go ahead and hike at the speed that you're hiking. You're hiking faster than me, and I'll catch up to you guys. And we go, okay, you know where, if we get too far ahead of you, you know where we're staying the night. We've already made the plan. Yeah, I'll be fine. I look to this guy, and I'm all like, are you sure? And he goes, yes. My buddy goes, you're sure? And the guy, again, in the affirmative, yeah, absolutely. You guys just go ahead. I'll catch up. I'll see you guys at camp. I look to him one more time. I look at my buddy. I shrug my shoulders, and I just start walking, and I take off. I'm just like, boom. And now at this point, I'm walking so fast, I'm like way ahead of my friend. Now my friend knows my hiking style. I hike fast, guys. I am a fast hiker. So I just break away, and I'm breaking away and just increasing distance between myself and that guy and my buddy who's in between us. So this guy's like way back there, my buddy's in the middle, and I'm way out in front. And as I cover more ground, the distance just starts increasing. As we're hiking along and we're going around the curves and the spurs on these mountain passes, as I get up around one spur to the point of a spur, and I look back, I can see this guy is probably about 1.5 miles behind me, and he's just slow walking. And I mean, he's just like a blip on the radar, and he's just slow walking. I'm all like, wow, this is gonna be bad. So whatever, I just keep hiking because I need to get to the campground. I get to the campground, I get off. Now we're inside of Silverwood Lake. I get off in Silverwood Lake, and I'm near the camp area where we said we're gonna meet, and I'm waiting, and probably about an hour passes, and my buddy shows up. And I'm all like, hey, have you seen so-and-so? And he goes, no, he's way back there. So we're all like, hey, we better, let's try calling him. There was spotty cell service in the area, but we tried calling him, and his cell phone was off. Either that or the battery had died. We have no idea. Now let me back up a little bit. One of the reasons I felt okay to break away from this guy is because he had his spot device. So I knew if there was a jam, he could press the button, help would get to him, and we'd be good to go. So I wasn't overly concerned. Plus, this is a heavily traveled trail, so there were people going across the trail, through the trail the whole time. So we're waiting for this guy to show up. He never shows up. And I tell my buddy, now the sun is like dipping, and we're like, what do we do? Should we go back and look for him? No, he'll show up. And we just start talking about this. And I start telling my buddy, I go, this is exactly why I wanted to do a shakedown hike. We needed all to be on the same page. We needed everyone to understand each other's expectations. So it was important to do a shakedown hike. And my buddy goes, yeah, I know. Whatever. Guys, we never saw this guy again. My buddy and I never saw this guy again. We slept, woke up in the morning, got up on the trail, and continued our hike down the PCT. And then once we got to where the 15 freeway and the PCT is, my buddy split off to go to the McDonald's, and I just continued on my way down to Bass Pro Shops. I must have been about 1 mile away from Bass Pro Shops. So from the 15 freeway to Bass Pro Shops is about 20 miles, give or take. And I must have been about 1 mile from Bass Pro Shops, and I get a phone call. And it's from this guy. And he just starts railing me. He just starts railing me like, how could you guys do this? You guys left me. I almost had to press my spot button, this and that. Never in the history of any expedition I've ever been on, his exact words, expedition he's ever been on, has he ever experienced such a flaw in leadership. And I'm listening, and I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of just awestruck, because all I can think about is we literally had this conversation and we waited for you and we tried calling you and nothing. Whatever, I get to Bass Pro Shops, I'm experiencing a high. I wasn't gonna let this ruin my high. I get to Bass Pro Shops, I'm doing my dinner, and then that whole story continues. But the story doesn't end there. I get a phone call from my buddy the next day, and he starts telling me that this guy goes on some Facebook groups and he just starts railing me. Now, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't know. I don't belong to any Facebook groups, but this guy starts railing me. Unfortunately, my buddy is on some of those Facebook groups, so my buddy starts defending me and started calling that guy out. Really? This is what happened, guys. This is the truth. And when my buddy's telling me this, I'm all like, yo, man, what's going on here? At the same time, I'm at a point in my life, I didn't care, but it just really illustrates the point, guys, why it's important to make sure you have the proper hiking partner. And if you're gonna hike with a person for the first time, do yourselves a favor and do a shakedown hike. Talk about what the expectations are. Talk about what you're gonna do if you get separated. Talk about where you're going to meet at the end of the day or at the end of the hike. Try not to deviate from that. But most important, do a shakedown hike. Does that mean I don't hike with other people? No, it doesn't mean that. But when I agree to hike with somebody, I'm no longer doing my hike. I am doing their hike, because I know if there's a category of people where you got like fast hikers, middle of the road hikers, and slow hikers, I'm up here with the fast hikers, and I know not everyone hikes at my speed. So I know when I agree to do a hike with somebody, I got to drop my level to theirs. But that's me. I've conceded to that. I'm okay with that. Like when I have this upcoming trip with my buddy on the PCT, I'm okay with it. I know he hikes slower than me, but I've conceded to that, and that is at the rate that I'm gonna hike. But when somebody joins me on a hike and it's my speed, either hike at my speed, or let's come to some sort of understanding where we're gonna meet and what the expectations are. Anyway, guys, I was on the fence about sharing this story, but at the end of the day, I felt it illustrated a good point and kind of is a good lesson on why it's important to choose the right hiking partners. Because if you choose the wrong hiking partner, they can break your hike. On the other hand, choosing the right hiking partners, or having the same expectations, or conceding and getting on the level playing field, you guys can have a lot of fun with your hiking partners. But do yourselves a favor. Have a complete understanding, know what the expectations are, and have a shakedown hike together. That way you guys can work out the kinks and the flaws with each other's hikes. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick story time video. Please like and share this video, and if you found it entertaining, hit the subscribe button by hitting the link down below. While you're at it, head on over to our Facebook page and follow us there. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support, and until next time, I'll see you on the trail.